Hello, welcome to another episode of Summer Between, a film and TV podcast. We're your hosts. I am Daniel Para.
And I'm Erwin Trejo.
And we got a couple of big movies to talk about this week. We have seen both Jurassic World Dominion and Lightyear, and we will be talking about both with full spoilers, as always. If you've never listened to us before, number one, thank you so much. It means the world. And when I say that, I really do mean it. We recently
But we
hit
don't
a
own the
big
world.
goal. We do
We
not,
do
no.
not.
We live on it. And we get to experience movies that we like every once in a while. And from what I understand, Lightyear spit on Erwin's mom or something. So
Wait,
we're gonna
I'm
get
sorry.
to it. Uh, I
I'm so
if you've
I'm
never
so
listened to-
confused.
But if you've never listened to us before, what we like to do is imagine you just got out of a movie with your friends. You'll want to talk about it with them. They'll anxiously ask you, "What did you think of it?" The second it's over, and
What are you trying to call out?
you're like, "Give me some time. I don't know what I thought yet." We were just talking about this like an hour or two ago, and hey, what's a movie that you couldn't form an opinion on right away? You like had to think about what you even thought of it for like a while.
I'm
Do you have any?
trying to think. I don't know. Last time that happened to me, it was whenever we went to see like three movies in one day.
Oh yeah,
It was just like, but they were all great movies. It's just the fact that they were all so different from one another,
yeah.
and so it's just like trying to like understand like what I just saw in the span of like three
No,
different
that
movies.
yeah, that was the day we saw Jojo Rabbit, The
Hmm.
Lighthouse, and Parasite all at the end of the day.
Yes.
And I remember because The Lighthouse is The Lighthouse, and those all require some amount of like thought to be put into them.
Yes.
And I think I gave every single one of those movies we saw that day 5 stars because I thought they were all that good.
Hmm.
Uh, no, that was like one of the best days of us ever doing that ever. I think the last time you and I had done that was when we saw both Arrival and Hacksaw Ridge on the same day,
Oh,
and
amazing.
that was incredible. I know. No, so Jurassic World Dominion. Erwin and I have very different takes on the Jurassic Park franchise. We've hinted at it on here before, if you remember us ever talking about this, but I guess it's finally time that we fully address this. I will let Erwin go first with his regards to the overall franchise. Give me just your general thoughts on each of them, really.
Okay, well, I've been watching uh Jurassic Park, like the first three, ever since I was a kid. I just love uh the franchise as a whole. I'm a sucker for dinosaurs. So anytime I get a chance to see any type of T Rex in any movie, I was like, this is amazing. Like I still remember when in Ready Player One, when like the T Rex showed up, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And I was
Oh, from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, so I was like super
Yeah.
excited, or like I really like enjoyed that movie as well. But I remember the first Jurassic Park movie, and I just remember being in awe of it, and it just like felt like an adventure type of film, and I just enjoyed like every single scene with the Velociraptors and every character that appeared in the first one. And then I remember loving the third one a lot just because of the Spinosaurus. And I'm like, whoa, did it just kill the T Rex? And I was like, this
Oh
is
yeah, the thing they do every movie.
yes. Hey, what are you
Uh-huh.
doing? Give me time to speak.
Okay.
And I remember enjoying the Lost World, but even as a kid, I thought it was like slow at some parts.
Hmm.
But overall, I just love the first three, even though the third one is just it's very I don't know, not it doesn't live up to par to like the first one in my opinion from my perspective. And then with the Jurassic World movies, I enjoy them. I like them. I think it's just the fact that they just bring back like the nostalgia of the first three a lot for me. So I'm able to like sit down and watch them. Like I see the problems with it, but to me, like I
Hmm.
still think like the very first one still holds up to this day, and I'm able to watch it over and over again, comparable to the other ones, especially now.
Do you liked Fallen Kingdom too, right?
Two, as in the second one
The
in the trilogy. Yes.
in the World franchise, which is also the fifth. Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, I think I liked it from what I remember. I don't know. It's just I haven't seen Fallen Kingdom. I've only seen it once, and that was so long ago.
Yeah.
But I remember I've seen Jurassic World so many times because I enjoyed that one out of all. I think I enjoyed that one more in the Jurassic World franchise than I do any of the other two.
You and I had this ongoing joke for years regarding Jurassic World because it came out in 2015, so it's been years now.
Yes.
Where we joke about Vincent D'Onofrio and
Uh,
him wanting to militarize the raptors in that because it's like such a nonsensical. It's the most like the military's bad, they're evil. Take like in these and I remember I texted you the other day. I was like, Erwin, you get it? Bio sin, like biological sin, because man isn't made to meddle with biology because they say that in every single one of these movies because they can't figure out a new point to make.
yes.
The So the first one for me, I understand. A lot of people consider it one of the greatest movies ever made. I do not. I think Spielberg is an incredible director. Is he in my like top 5 favorites? Yes, I'm sure he's in everyone's. That's like they love film, and I'm more of a. I think I would much rather watch Jaws, but I also it's funny the way you are about dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs, but I'm that way about sharks.
Oh yeah, that's
So,
true.
I mean,
Yeah, you,
really really silly shark movies. I'm like yes.
sir. Have you seen all the
I love
Sharknadoes?
most of them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen 4 through like 6 or
There's
which
6
I,
of
I
them.
stopped at 3. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there might be more.
I thought there was like, I know there was 4 of them, but dang.
Yeah, but those aren't that fun because the sharks are barely there. Crawl rocked the alligator one. Different than sharks, but still, I thought that one worked really well. And when Sam Raimi was only producing things before he made Doctor Strange, which we still need to do our episode about, and we will soon. But I think it's good. I have my issues with it because I think the first half is dreadfully slow. And I know it's supposed to be like introducing all these characters that you're supposed to like. I really only like or I really only love Jeff Goldblum. And so we'll get into what we thought of like Dominion in a second, but Sam Neill I like as an actor, and Laura Dern I like as an actor a lot, but from different things like Hunt for the Wilder People. I love him in that, or her in anything that David Lynch does, and that they're serviceable, they're fine, whatever. I'm sure you're getting mad at me while I say this.
It's fine. Everybody
second
has
half,
their opinions, sir.
The second half I think is incredible. I think that's where that movie really shines, and even though I don't care about anybody except for Ian Malcolm, that's when it works really well. It's the same thing as like, we'll talk about Obi-Wan later, but Rogue One I use as an example all the time, where everyone leaves that movie and they're like, I remember the third act of that, that's why I love that movie, and they don't really remember all of the lead up to it, of the stuff that maybe isn't so memorable. And Lost World, I straight up can't tell you what I think of it. It's been so long. I used to watch that one a lot as a kid, actually.
Yeah.
My cousin was same feelings as you towards the Jurassic Park franchise. Grew up with them, love them. They mean a lot to him too. And it's funny because usually we start these with like, oh, this franchise meant so much to me growing up because we both like movies, so obviously that's gonna happen a lot. But with this, I'm sort of a casual fan more than anything else. I've seen every single one of them. I remember 3 pretty well. I remember thinking it was nothing. I really don't know what I thought of that one either. I know it's 90 minutes, which is crazy for these. Darian, our friend, just texted me the other day, and he said, hey, this kind of sucks. Jurassic World, I like more than most people, I think. I think that's the one that actually bothers to lean into its concept of, hey, the park's open. Of course, it repeats a bunch of beats from Jurassic Park. They all do. They all can't ever figure out how to not.
Yeah, that's so true. That's
And
like a one thing I could definitely agree on. It's just they pretty much just
Yeah.
copy a lot from just the first one and just bring it back in every single movie, no matter what it is.
It's the same thing as like Terminator to
Yes.
me, where yes, 2 is the best one. 1 is really great too. The first 2 are inarguably like perfect to me, but they can't figure out how to not do those again, just in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And Erwin, turn off your whatever that is.
Oh.
And Fallen Kingdom, it was funny because I think I gave it like 3.5 stars the first time I saw it, but then I have that movie on Blu-ray, I think, and then I think I was watching it while I was doing my homework, and it's just one of those where you're like, I can have this on in the background, and then I would just look up every once in a while, and that's basically how I watched it the second time. And I was like, do I even really like that movie? I'm not really sure. But Dominion, this movie has what, a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think. Is it that bad? Not to me. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to be very overly nice to this movie, but I think I'll ask you because we haven't really even gone fully in depth with this or the other movie we're going to talk about. What did you think of Jurassic World Dominion?
I don't like the title.
I don't either because I keep wanting to call it The
I
Minion.
know. Ever since you made that one joke, that's all I think about. I'm like, is this a sequel? um, I I think I liked it overall. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I just enjoyed. I was just a sucker whenever they just brought back the old characters and they put in with the new characters, and I just thought like anytime like they showed up on screen, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And it was just that, right? Any other part from that, I just felt like, wow, this is pretty slow and pretty boring.
Yeah.
But for the majority, anytime they were on screen, and it felt like to me like it went by fast for a movie that was like 2.5 hours. Only like I felt like maybe like 30 to like 45 minutes. It was when I didn't like I was just like not into it at all, especially with all the insects and everything.
This movie is so much about bugs.
Yeah,
I
I didn't. I don't know. That really like threw me off guard because I remember the first time you were telling me about that, and I was just like, "What is he talking about? Insects?"
Yeah, no, it's funny because usually I'll exaggerate things to you sometimes just about life in general, you know.
Yeah.
But I usually do it as a joke. But here I was like, Erwin, I'm not kidding. I was like, this movie is really half about that. Uh, so whenever those characters showed up for me, like, what are their names? Ellie Settler and Alan, Alan Grant. I was like, yeah, okay, I, whatever. And then Ian Malcolm showed up. I was like, yep, yeah. And then he proceeds to be the best part of the movie to me.
Yes.
And I think that they have no idea. They never learned what to do with Owen or Claire, and that shows the most here to me. Because I was like, what are you guys? Like, not in terms of, I could tell that just in general wasn't working to me whenever DeWanda Weiss showed up, who I thought was really great in it actually. And I thought whenever Chris Pratt is in that airplane with her, I was like, oh, she's going to be the romantic interest of this. And then I was like, wait, that couldn't happen. Oh, I forgot. Like, I forgot in the middle of the movie that I'm like, oh, he's with Bryce Dallas Howard already.
Yeah, that's true.
In this. And so the reason why I'm kind of nice to it is I thought that the dinosaur stuff itself, the set pieces, were really, really good and really well thought out. There's this whole half-hour portion in the middle when they release the dinosaurs from like that underground fight club, which is an amazing idea. Why wasn't there more of that? All the way to them like Claire crash landing in the facility that of course they spent half the movie in after, where she's like going through the moss water that I thought was really well done. I really enjoyed all of that. But then this movie has so much baggage of like, it's about nature preserves and crops for whatever reason. Why is it? I'm not really sure. I think it's because, yet again, with the first one, they have to think this has to be about more than just the dinosaurs. This has to be about man manipulating biology, which I get. That's in every single one of these. I don't get why you can't just make that point with the dinosaurs existing in terms of marketing. Like, I'm usually not a person that because we complain about trailers all the time. We say that trailers sometimes show too much, sometimes they mislead people, and sometimes you're a bit bothered by that. A24 horror movies kind of tend to mislead people very often with what they actually are as movies. But here, when the movie itself, Fallen Kingdom, sells you on the idea of a huge cliffhanger where the clone girl releases all of the other dinosaurs because she says they're alive like me, which is stupid, and I do not like that at all. It's a plot point that makes no sense. And then ends with, yes, that's what the next one's going to be about, and then proceeds to ignore that totally. It blows my mind. But then I wish I enjoyed Sam Neill and Laura Dern's presence. I do not like what they were given to do because they're the ones that have to anchor that whole bug thing in the first place. And
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
go ahead and speak on it a little bit more.
Oh well, I was gonna say like, just when anytime like I don't even remember what they were saying or doing. It's just the fact they were on screen together again, because like I remember when I was a kid and watching Jurassic Park 3 and seeing them together, but not really. I was like, oh my gosh, Sam Neill's back in the third one, and I
Right.
was so excited and I was so happy. And so the fact that I got to see them again in this one, it's just like I clearly like just like my mind just like closed off of the fact of like what they were doing, which is more about insects. I'm like, why are they talking about insects? Like my favorite parts were whenever they were seeing the dinosaurs again and were like, whoa, and they're like they were running from them and then like them using their knowledge about that more so than them tackling that problem in the movie. I'm just like, this is
Yeah.
not what I care for. But I'm like, the fact they're all
No,
together is
and I
like, this is
told you what
amazing.
was such a drag for me is whenever, if you put characters in just a science lab for a very long time, you better make it interesting. You better. And for me, they didn't. I was trying to explain the plot point to someone that didn't care to watch it because a lot of people I know don't really care about these anymore. I don't really fully believe in like franchise burnout or anything because this movie's still doing very well. It's making a lot of money because dinosaurs don't kiss each other in it. Whatever, we'll get to that. And
Wait,
because of
what?
the
Why'd
whole
you say
Lightyear
that?
thing.
Oh, yes. I was like, what?
And I don't know. It's just, especially when it was funny because a complaint that we've both had about like the Amazing Spider-Man movies is that they're like, what's with the lab setting stuff? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it has such as much as we joke about Morbius, I saw that if you put them just in that really dry kind of plain white lab setting and then it's over half the movie and you have to make all of these sciencey things sound interesting but they don't, it's like there's more to do there. I think I didn't enjoy the stuff with the clone girl. We were talking about this beforehand. There's a big moment in this that I actually kind of just rolled my eyes at because I was like, I can't believe that, because Chris Pratt does the hand thing way too much in this movie. It's an absurd amount. I think you can count to above 10 in it, I'm pretty sure. But the dinosaurs have never looked better. The third act is weirdly short and not that fulfilling to me.
Yeah, it was definitely like a
Yeah.
Rogue One moment.
But you enjoyed this more than I did, so go ahead and yeah.
I did, yes. Well, I don't know what else to say about it because overall like just like that trilogy it was
Mhm.
underwhelming. I get to say because I did enjoy the dinosaurs. Anytime they showed new kinds of dinosaurs and like their designs for them, like that's what I really liked a lot, because even from the other ones, they didn't really showcase a lot. That's why I love the Spinosaurus a lot in the third one, on in Jurassic Park 3. But other than that though, like even like the new characters that they showcased, they weren't really well developed or anything where it sparked interest in me comparable to the other ones that I in the
Mhm.
first in the first three. So even on, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember the second one right now, but I just remember like
The
liking the way it looked
Yeah,
a
no,
lot.
just the other thing is I'm a huge monster movie fan in
Hmm.
general. The whole I think that's why I like the first World particularly is cuz I feel like it actually, does that. And there are beats in this that get there. I thought when I say that there were about four incredible moments in this movie, what I mean is I loved that stuff in Malta. I loved the scene where Claire's going through the water. I really liked whenever they're stuck in that underground area with whatever dinosaurs those are. And the designs are great. I liked that scene as brief as it was. It was too brief because you could have gotten a whole set piece out of it. Is whenever they're walking on the ice and that one dinosaur's sort of circling through them in the water. I thought that was really well done.
Oh
It's
yes.
just movies like this. We've talked about this with blockbusters in general. I'm assuming we're gonna end up talking about this more when we get into Kenobi. Are tailored kind of for
Hmm.
moments and set pieces, and you're supposed to, expect big clap-worthy scenes out of it. But what I think the misunderstanding here is that you're supposed to care about these people in order for this to happen. So if Owen would have just died there, I would have probably been like, that interesting choice. I don't I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there's yeah.
I don't know how I would feel because I'm just like I don't really know Owen that well. Because like
Mm.
you've seen his actions more so than just like his character. I don't know. I guess I don't want to say like explaining. Just you don't really understand like his motivation to keep going a lot. All you know is that he
Yeah.
raised some velociraptors and he had some emotions towards like Bryce Dallas' character and just some dinosaurs overall. But other than that, though, it's just like
Yeah. What is
there's no
his
more weight to
personality?
it.
I don't know. What's Claire's personality? I know Claire via her personality way more in the first one more than I do with like two or three because in that one I'm like, okay, she's only
Hmm.
focused on business and that's all she wants to do and she's kind of the villain of it for
Hmm.
a lot of it.
See, I kind of like the third one for her character because they were trying to portray her as like a mother figure to
Mm.
the clone type of kid, which I like that. But that's the thing. It's like I wish they showed that relationship a little bit more and just her wanting to be that type of figure as well, which I enjoy. And that it's even if like I guess if they also put Chris Pratt's character as well as like that father figure, but they only showed up for like a brief second. But other than that, it
See,
was
I got
just
the point,
nothing more
right?
to it.
But it's more so for me
Hmm.
like why is she not able to do that in the first place? Why should I care about this girl who effectively kind of ruined Earth's atmosphere and cohabitation in the second one with one of the stupidest.
Dang,
But
dang, you
I mean,
have to
that's what
point
happens. At the
fingers.
why? Why does she say that? That line is so stupid. The
See, mom, this is why I don't want to have kids, because
you just
I
imagine all
don't
the
want my kids to
dinosaurs
ruin
and
the
then like,
environment.
look, okay. In theory, it's cool that you could live with them. Not that the movie even does anything with that, but she's like they're alive like me. That is such a stupid reasoning. I we talked about this. I read that Colin Trevorrow, he really does seem to have a passion for these, but I think it's him and Derek Connolly are the writers in all of them. I think they just don't know how. They don't know how to write,
Hmm.
and then it makes you kind of wonder didn't he write the original draft of Rise of Skywalker? Was it any better anyway than uh, whichever one we ended up with? I don't know, because I yeah.
No, yeah, I agree. I think it's what you said earlier. It's just for moments because when I think back to the to Dominion, I think of moments in that where I'm like, whoa, that was amazing. Like the moment when I see, you know, Sam Neill and Laura
Right.
Dern's character back together again. You know, seeing Ian Malk or like Jeff Goldblum and all three of them back together again. The fact that we're all meeting with the new characters and old characters back together again, like that was moments, right? All of them trying to help one another, trying to escape from that one T Rex, or like that the Gigasaurus one. That was so cool. It's like it was building to moments more so than them fleshing out the characters, but which I really enjoyed. Like, I mean, that reminds me of like the first Jurassic Park movie where the first part, like what you just said, like the first part for you, like you didn't find entertaining, but I did because it felt like I was connecting more to the characters. So when uh, when the park,
Mhm.
was shutting down in the first one, I felt like I cared more about their situations because I got to know more about the characters,
Also,
and I was actually
I
like,
know that the whole
and I felt like there was some weight
I
behind
know
it.
that the whole point of this one is that
Wait,
the
go ahead.
old cast is supposed to meet the new cast, and when I think they finally meet each other, I think it gets an energy, like a good energy. I love Jeff Goldblum and his interactions with Chris Pratt because Chris Pratt's character himself is so serious, and Ian Malcolm's just not really. So whenever they interact with each other, him calling out the humor in it, I like a fair amount, but it takes so long to get there because of how
I think the studios
that
pronounced
did this. It's
Paramount.
Universal.
Yeah, but you said,
What did I say?
oh,
Okay,
never mind. I don't
but
care.
as a movie
LOL,
just
lol.
tailored on moments, I don't know. I'm not. It's like Marvel does it all the time, but Marvel, they build to it. They get there with intent, and they earn that whenever they can do it, which is, I think, a lesson that needs to be
Mm-hmm.
gleaned from them. And one of the best blockbusters in recent memory we just saw, Top Gun Maverick, is really based on scene after scene building on top of each other. So whenever the third act finally happens, you care about everyone and everything else that happened previously, and you're like, okay, I am here. Every big moment that happens in that third act in that movie pays off insanely well because they built up to it. Here it's just kind of like, I don't know, I felt
Yes.
like it took forever for the old cast and the new cast to meet, and the third act, while entertaining-ish, is very short, at least for me. Like the final fight at the end, whenever they say, it's not about us, it's about them, or whatever they say, and then it does the... See,
Yo, that was great.
I did enjoy that part,
You
yeah,
enjoyed
but
that,
then it was
right?
over instantly. It
All
was
right,
funny.
good. Well, I mean, the movie
It was
has to
funny though. I
end,
saw it with
Daniel.
my
I'm
sister,
confused.
and she was she leaned over to me
Yes.
whenever whenever the T-Rex goes through the little circle, and you're like, yes, it's the logo. I understand. Uh, she leaned over. She was like, "You get it?" I was like, "Yes, I understand it."
I'm sorry. I don't know. It just sounds so pretentious. That's all. Whenever we just say like, "Whoa,
Well,
do you understand colors?"
okay, but
Let me explain
sometimes...
colors real quick.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, later,
whatever.
later.
Sometimes it's there for a reason. I remember you got
I
after
don't know.
me
It's
whenever
just
I
it's
said
just
that
too
about the
pretentious.
Batman, but it's true. It's there. It's a it's it's a symbol of fear.
Okay.
Um,
Hey, yo, wait. Batman
He's a
understands
bat.
symbolism.
no, I don't know. As
And they only come out at
you know,
night,
Bruce
and Batman
Wayne during
comes
the
out
day,
at
and
night.
he's
But really, there's actually two Bruce Waynes: his fake
it's
persona
crazy,
and
but
real
then it
Bruce.
turns out the Playboy one is just his. Yes, we understand Batman. Whatever. It's funny because me talking about this out loud, I'm like, God, it sounds like I hate this, but it's just so... I'm not gonna watch it again. I'm definitely not. Are you?
You're not gonna watch
I'm gonna
Dominion?
Minions.
Oh,
Minions is
I'm for
day
sure gonna
one.
watch
I
it
will be
again.
there at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or whenever. I will be there. or Thursday at like 10:45.
That's not true. I don't believe
I
that.
want to avoid kids.
I'm.
And then I get to laugh at them saying banana at each other. My
I think I would
overall
laugh
score
too.
on this is a very, very generous 3 out of 5. How do you feel about this overall, and what's your score?
3.5
Okay, so it's your favorite movie of the year
out
so
of
far?
5.
All right. No, that makes
Oh,
sense.
for sure. What other
Everything
movies came out
Everywhere
this
All
year?
at Once, The Batman, Minions: Rise of Gru.
Wait, no. Oh,
Yeah, but it's
that
gonna
even
be
came
there.
out yet.
Morbius, of course.
It's Morbin time.
I'm sure some other stuff I'm forgetting. No, yeah. I know.
I love how you
Every
named
single
all
one
these
of them
top tier
belongs in
movies.
the IMDb top 250. They all go there.
Yes. Dude, every time I see that list
It's
now,
the
I'm
most
just like,
film bro-y list I've
this
ever
list is
seen. I
dumb.
think that's where whenever people, you know how whenever people make those TikToks and they make fun of the TikToks that are like top 10 acting performances, and then it's just a bunch of clips of like dudes yelling, and it's the
yes, it's always There Will Be Blood. That scene from Nightcrawler. Shoot, what
Django
else?
Unchained, I think, Leonardo DiCaprio, or Wolf of Wall Street. That's another one.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I just think of the There Will Be Blood. I'm like, dude, the amount of people who've like, I don't know anybody
Okay.
else who's like seen There Will Be Blood, besides like you and like maybe one other person I can't think
I
of. But
want to say our friend Dakota, but I think he's just seen the random scenes from it on TikTok or whatever. But it's funny because back when that movie came out in 2007, the other scene that became really popular from it was the "I drink your milkshake" part. But yeah, but not because of the
I
actual
remember that
context of the
part.
scene. It's just because he says it, and then people will just say it, and you're like, why did that get popular? They do.
I don't know. These random scenes get popular. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we'll
Now I'm
get
thinking
there.
about Star Wars right now. With
Because
like,
of your color
yeah,
thing.
what color thing? What color? Don't say the color thing, guys. I am their color as in just like
No.
not skin.
Speaking of, let's go on to a
Like
movie you
red,
hated.
blue.
Okay, so Lightyear came out.
Why'd you say that? Why'd you transition into like that? That's not true, guys. Guys, I didn't hate this
We
movie.
were excited for this episode in particular because of these two things that we got to talk about. Because it's funny, as close as our scores were on
man.
Jurassic World, we had like wildly different feelings on it. But here, I think with Jurassic World, you can describe it as like you liked it a lot more than I did, despite its flaws, and then me, I'm like, okay, despite its massive flaws, I'm looking at the positive stuff that's here. But no, so Lightyear came out last week. I have my feelings on it, and Erwin has his. So
Yes. I think you should go first, Daniel, since it's obvious that you like it
I'm
more
going
than
to
I
preface
did.
this by saying, and I'm sure this is true for you too, I think it's true for everybody our age, unless you're, different, I guess. The Toy Story movies
2 years old.
mean a whole lot to me growing up. I told you this is going to happen fairly often because, oh my God, you like movies, don't you? Wow, you're such a movie guy with your movie show. And you're like, yes, I do.
Hey,
being
can we
so
get
mean
back?
to
Can we
myself.
get back on track?
I grew up adoring them. I grew up.
You grew up?
I was born at a young age, and I grew up.
I'm sorry, wait. That was pretty funny.
So, I'm going to repeat this again. These mean a lot because
I was born as a
at the
baby.
womb, got out of there. Grew up.
Ew.
Still growing up.
And here I am
Here
now.
I am. But and you are you.
I am me.
No, so okay. Let me continue. I just watched Toy Story 3 again the other day, or I walked in halfway through. My dad's been watching all of them this week for whatever reason. I don't think he's on 4 yet, but he'll get there. And I just sort of sat down and I was watching the second half of it, and those movies just excel. They are perfect. I think 4 is perfect. I think every single one of them has such a charm. It's funny because the Toy Story movies, if they were to be announced today, if Pixar, for example, had never done any of these, I'm sure the reaction on the internet would be something along the lines of, oh, it's just going to be a gigantic commercial, like when Lego Movie came out for the first time, and then you watch it and you're like, this is unbelievable. This is perfect. And no.
Wait, are you comparing the Lego Movie to
Lego
Lightyear?
Movie and Toy Story, they kind of have this commercial quality that if you were to say, hey, we're making this entire franchise just out of toys, you would be kind of cynical. You would be like, okay, so it's just going to be a gigantic commercial. But I've never thought of them that way.
Oh, okay.
Ever,
that makes sense.
because they have such a passion and charm behind the storytelling of them. They're all about something really kind of sad and existential in a sense, and I found that in Lightyear a bit too, but I guess we'll get into that. And not just sad, but also there are happy aspects to it too, of course. Toy Story 3, the way it ends, is just the most bittersweet thing in the world. So is 4. And 2 ends happily, but I think that's the only one that kind of does. And, well, 1 also. But going into Lightyear,
okay, we get it. You love all of them. Damn.
Insurmountable barrier here where you're like, okay, this is a Toy Story movie, kind of. Is it going to live up to that in any sense? And you and I talk about how we should never ever compare movies that come out to others. Of course, you have a tendency to want to. Like, I know that there's this joke going on about Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness not being as good as Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm like, those have nothing to do with each other. I would never compare the both of those. I get it. They both have things that they are about that are distantly related to each other, but I wouldn't go so far as to just say anything about both of them. I mean, I know which one I prefer more, Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I'd still really like Doctor Strange for different reasons, of course. And here, I, with caveats, loved this movie overall. I thought that I don't know, something about the opening, I was kind of instantly hooked into it, and I remember you briefly mentioning something. It sounds like you weren't. And I know that this movie, it's not bombing. It's doing well. It's doing very well. Comparatively to Toy Story, I don't think as much, but also the marketing for this movie kind of makes no sense. I didn't even fully understand what the movie was up until the opening crawl, kind of, where it was like, it's 1995, you are Andy, you are about to watch your favorite movie, or whatever it says. I'm like, okay.
That's like, I'm not Andy.
Like, this
I know
is
who
my
I
favorite
am.
movie. I mean, I like it.
Wow, Andy has some. Needs to raise his
huh?
standards real quick. You're making fun of a 10-year-old. Wow, man, your opinion sucks, man.
If we're gonna get into negatives first, I found it really oddly paced. The second act felt very, very long, and the third act felt very, very short. And the first act introduced some stuff that I was like, oh, this movie's Interstellar, and then kind of isn't anymore after a while. It has some stuff with that I love, that Pixar always deals with, that I wish they would have gone into a bit more of. It kind of has this existential feeling of Buzz sort of losing passage of time. He stays the same age. Chris Evans, of course, doing the I guess, getting older, but staying the same again, but in a different context. He's Captain America.
I don't get it. No, he's not.
But
this isn't Marvel.
I'm gonna just go ahead and pass it off to you, and then we'll really get into it from there. What'd you think?
I liked it, but for me, it had some not issues, but just like problems that I just didn't I guess for me, it just didn't execute well. My problem was never the fact that it was like a movie in a movie type of thing. Like I understood that part. My problem was with the characters in the movie. Um, I guess for Buzz Lightyear, like the main,
Yeah.
I guess the main person. uh, he, I guess I don't know. It just he felt so artificial to me, which I
Mhm.
get because like it's based off of toy, but his like personality in that movie, it's just it didn't work for me. As in like it didn't feel like there was any like emotional value towards it. And anytime he interacted with everybody else, I felt like the other characters had uh more weight to them comparable to like Lightyear. But the thing is, like the other characters didn't have enough screen time comparable to Lightyear. And I'm like, I wouldn't want the other side characters to have like either as much or you know or more than Lightyear. So, but I found more interest in like Hawthorne, like the like his
The
like his
older
friend,
one, or okay, yeah, yeah.
the grandma, yeah, the older one. Yes, the older one. I really liked her character a lot more, and the fact that we barely got anything from her. I really liked her granddaughter later on in the film, but it's just like the lack of her because I really liked the fact that she had like she looked up to her grandma and like wanted to be a ranger as well. I really liked all that. And the other characters, like it didn't really work for me. They felt kind of I don't like not annoying, but just more so like it
I
felt like
don't.
it was dragging for me. And I really like the part where you mentioned like how the first
Right.
act was just like interstellar because that part I did enjoy like that whole montage of him like traveling and all that. I really enjoyed all that. But that was only like the first act and like the second act definitely dragged for me while they were just like trying to find that first it was trying to find that ship and then them trying to like find that crystal. I don't know what it was, but not it was just not
While there was some
hitting for
clever
me.
ideas for me in the second act, that's like where my problems with it come from. I think it sort of runs into a sort of stall of, okay, we go here, then we go here, and then we go here again. And it sort of turns into that, like the kind of, okay, we got to figure out how to get them to do things and go places and effectively drive the story forward into the third act. And it felt kind of a bit like kicking. There's a term for it. It's like kicking dirt under your feet or whatever. Basically, like like sort of just passing the time. And that's how I felt about it. I
Mm-hmm.
actually even thought during the first act, I was like, if this were older Pixar, I bet this whole movie would be about what the first act is. And then if it would probably end up ending with him realizing that the whole time that he missed this passage of time with his friend and they grew up and got older without him, which that stuff as an idea I love.
Yes.
I love, and it made me drive the rest of the whole movie forward for me. I really liked a lot of the side characters enough that like Socks carries like
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing. And yeah,
Oh, I love socks.
instant with
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Like I feel like the ideas they were there. I think if it was like 20 minutes longer, and they just like let out and like fleshed out more of the character, especially Lightyear, I would say, and just have him do more like I don't know, like I guess human interaction. I would say. I think the fact that his main thing was
yeah.
just like mission, 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 and then the second act he was just like still focusing on the mission, and it was just it didn't really like it didn't feel like he fleshed out his character a lot in order for me to care
Yeah,
for
no,
what he
as
was
a whole,
doing.
I certainly would have liked more of Buzz's personality to shine through more. I think it's because like he's such a in this he
Mm-hmm.
also once again reminds me of Maverick because he kind of acts the same way in the sort of like no I'll do this on my own, I don't really need anyone else to help me. And then, granted, as much as that's like a kids movie thing to be like, I need help from others or whatever, this movie still deals with more mature themes, as all Pixar movies do. And it goes without saying, this movie is beautiful. It is so pretty. It made me miss
Hey,
the
they did the
the
shot.
oh my god, the color one.
The thing from no. The one where like Lightyear, he like ejects from the ship, and he's in
Oh
like that
yeah.
rocket pack or whatever, and he's like
No, when he
zooming
does the
through. I
wings
don't know why
thing,
I
I
was
was
like,
like,
whoa,
ah, yes.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
For
that was
me,
cool.
this movie I loved. I did, as much as we're kind of talking about the bit more negative stuff in it. One more thing I need to address. A lot of Taika Waititi goes a long way for me now. Please dial it down a little bit.
He's pulling a Ryan
I
Reynolds for
still
you.
really like him, and I'm of course out of my mind excited for Thor: Love and Thunder. But whenever it's him outside of that space, like in Free Guy, I was just like, nah. And that for me, his jokes just didn't work. And
I think it's because like he can't. He does the same thing with Ryan Reynolds, right? Where he can pull off that same character, yes, the same type of character, but if he plays it all the time, and we see it all the
yeah,
time,
no,
then
I
it
liked him
just
in this
gets kind
overall,
of
but I was
old.
also like, you're doing that thing again, huh? The kind of like sort of spacey, high pitched voice, kind of. I'm not dumb, but I'm also not very aware of where I am. Character again. I liked
Yes.
the other side characters, like the older woman. I thought was funny. I thought Kiki Palmer, Hawthorne also. I liked quite a bit. And
Yeah, I liked her, but like it was just one of those things where I wish I got to see more of
I did
her
too.
as well.
It's
I don't know. It's just I think it's just the fact that
yeah.
it was short. It was short, but it did feel long
No,
in
it's
certain
such an odd
parts.
complaint for me
It
where
was
I just
weird.
said that I thought the second act couldn't quite figure out how to pace itself. That at the same time, I'm also like, this movie should have been about 20 minutes longer, like you said. Like, so you could have more space
Yes.
to breathe a little bit.
Breathe,
Like,
breathe, because they can't breathe in
there's
space.
one other thing. I can't stand what Disney did for the past few years with Pixar and putting all their stuff straight to their streaming service. Whenever we saw this, I was like,
Oh
the one I'm
yes.
currently very mad about not seeing at all in a theater is Soul. I loved Soul. It's one of my more recent favorites. I
I love
love
that
Turning
movie.
Red, but not as much as I love Soul. And Turning Red is another one where I was
Yes.
like, it's stylistically different. It leans way more into the cartoony aspects of Pixar, which is totally fine. It just has a different art style. And I don't know. It's just annoying that the reason why I know that this one was put back is because you're like, yeah, right. Like, you're gonna put a Toy Story movie straight to streaming? No way. And while we haven't addressed it at all, because I don't think it really matters to the movie whatsoever, the controversy around this is so ridiculous. I can't really fathom it at all. I don't understand this sort of like reactionary kind of, I can't believe that Tim Allen isn't Buzz Lightyear, but then you watch the movie and you're like, okay, no, that makes sense. The whole joke is supposed to be that, like a toy, you wouldn't get Chris Evans to be Captain America. When you press the button and they talk, it's not him ever. It makes way more sense. And then the kiss in this is, just part of the movie. I don't know. It should be totally fine at this point, but I guess it's not with some people. So whatever.
My thing is I don't understand. I understand when people say like if something's forcing forcing you to watch it, as in like they're
Right.
forcing something down your throat type of thing. People always say, um, but it was never like a plot point in this movie, or even like something where it's like that's what the character's about. You know, it was never, I guess, about. I mean, it's weird to say, but like in this picture, has never like
Yeah.
delved into like sexuality and like made it where it's like that's what the movie's like topic is about, or like even like that's its character's like
Like
main thing.
I'm
It's like no, it's just something that they chose to do, and I was like, okay, like it never really
Yeah, like
made a
I'm sorry. What
difference
do you
like
think
the
is gonna
movie
happen? Like you're
itself.
gonna take your kid, and then that's gonna happen, and then he's gonna walk out, and he's gonna your like little boy's gonna be like, "Wow, I like other boys now." No, that's not. That's
What?
not. But that's like what they think.
I don't know.
And it
It's just
doesn't make
like,
any sense to me. Like it's not gonna.
mhm.
Even if it does happen, whatever. I mean,
I remember as a kid though. Then even I remember as a kid though as well, where it's just when like sexual scenes happen, that's like the last thing I think about. Like I don't even like. I don't think I'm even processing
yeah,
that. I'm like more about like the
such a
action that's
double
happening,
standard
and
where
I'm
it's
just like,
like
whoa,
the Disney
toy.
princess needs to be kissed by the Disney prince or whatever, and no one ever is really questioning that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a whole controversy, but I think
I don't
it
know.
boils down to a Facebook controversy, like we've said, which is totally different from stuff that matters. It's so you like Facebook.
I like Facebook.
I don't. I do
No, I
not
don't.
like
I don't
Facebook.
have. No, I got rid of
I think it's
Facebook.
just like there for family updates every once in a while, and that's about it. I, as much as I guess you just like this overall, I personally see kind of a massive bit of, I don't know if this is cynical to say because I'm not really sure, but franchise potential in that I'm like, hell yeah, I'd take more of these. I think there's a lot of space to expand and grow on this sort of, yeah. I didn't mean to.
That's funny.
On
That was good.
this particular story because I think it'd be really cool to make this I don't know in-universe sequels more or less. I know that they originally had Buzz Lightyear Star Command the show, which is another thing I loved growing up with Joe from Family Guy. What's his name? I love him. Patrick Warburton.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
great.
I love his voice. Hey, when he
Kronk,
played
yeah.
Emperor's New Groove, Kronk's New Groove, I
Oh,
would
would
love a
you
sequel for
watch
that.
another one of these? I think I would. Dude, an
Yeah, like a
extremely
Goofy movie.
How much goofier can they get?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Goofier.
Goofier Dominion Morbius
I would
time.
watch anything called Goofy or Dominion.
Goofier Dominion New Groove. It's Morbin time.
Rated R.
Rated R.
But yeah, no, overall, what'd you think?
Oh man. Overall, I still liked it, but I still had my. I don't know. I don't think it's something where I would want to watch again because typically, especially like the last few Pixar movies they've released on to Disney Plus,
Yeah.
I would watch it again. But with Lightyear, I don't have like that urge to watch it again for a while. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch it again, but
Yeah,
like it's just something I will watch it. As much as I would like from like Turning Red, Soul, or even Luca, because even like Luca, like I liked it a lot. I think
Yeah,
I
I
like
adored
Luca more than I
Luca.
did with Lightyear, but even Luca, yeah, like even this, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I disliked anything, but like it didn't really like
Oh
stand.
yeah,
Like I just
that's right.
enjoyed it
You liked
overall,
it.
but
I remember. Yeah.
yeah, I liked it. I think I liked it less than you did, but I still enjoyed it overall. But I didn't like love it comparable to like Soul or like even
Soul to
Turning
me
Red.
is
Like I
like
loved Turning Red.
top of. It's yeah. I think it is.
Oh yeah, it reminded me
And
of
I
like
like
Inside Out
Out.
because I love Inside Out.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I mean, I guess so. It's everyone's gonna be different. I think it's just like what they try to like showcase as well, like because like Inside Out's about like expressing your emotions, and then Soul is trying to find like purpose, and then with Lightyear it's like about you know not to do everything on your own and like
Pixar
knowing when
and
to ask for
Ghibli
help.
to me are the two animation studios I can think of where everyone has different reactions to like every single one of their movies. But it's never like I actively dislike
Yeah.
one unless you're Cars 2. And
Well, okay, even with the worst Pixar movies ever, we even talked about this that
yeah,
they're not even bad. They're just like some are just it just sucks. And then at the end, it's like you are comparing them to one another. And
yeah,
you're like
like
there are
this to
definitely
me,
better
I
Pixar
think
movies.
I actually, what movie grows on me more and more over time is Monsters University. I kind of have
Oh yes, I remember the first time watching it. I remember
Yeah,
liking
maybe
it,
college years and
but
going
now
through
I
that
love
and
it.
getting older puts you through that, but you're kind of like, damn, I love that movie.
Yeah,
Like, but this to me,
yeah.
Lightyear, is kind of how I feel in terms of overall. Maybe more like Onward, because Onward, I think, is so close to being like a top tier Pixar movie. It's just missing an element for me that I'm like,
Hmm.
it's just frustrating because I don't know what's missing. That I'm like, God, you're so close, but
I think I see that movie like 3 or 4 times, and I think I know what you mean.
no, I
Like it's
love that
missing something,
movie
but I still
overall.
enjoy it like a
It's
lot.
funny because the first time,
Yeah.
that was another one. The first time I saw it, I really liked it. The second time, it hit me really hard for some
Hmm.
reason. Yeah, and plus,
Yeah.
you can grow with movie opinions over time. For me, a lot of Pixar movies get better over time, even if they already started with me loving them. Will this change, go down, go
Hmm.
up? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I would have to wait. And it's also hard. It's also hard for me to
Check back in
really
10 years,
evaluate
guys.
this when I have such a bias towards those first four. Because the reason why we have never done a Pixar ranking is because you know me. I would put Toy Story in general at number one, and you,
I
yeah, and
know,
you
and
would
I'm like,
say,
Daniel,
"Don't do
you
that,"
have
and
to
I would
pick
say,
one of
"No,
them.
you can't. Listen, you're not my boss." But no,
Yeah, dude, I
that's
hate.
why
I
we
don't. I
stopped
don't like
already.
doing rankings. I
Even
really
though,
don't. Because they're so dumb. I don't know. It's just. I think because it's like the fact that you and I hate comparing movies to one another, and we just like
yeah,
to like
because it's such a like,
grade them on their own.
why give that movie that unfair sort of evaluation? Like it would be if I walked up to you, you know those
Yeah.
Instagram pages that are like, pick one of these movies or you die, and you're like, it's like
I would rather
Lightyear or
die.
death. Like
Oh,
well, you know the ones
no,
where it's
no.
like,
I'm
oh,
trying to think of like something where. No, it'd be like. No, okay. It would be like Fellowship of the Ring or Empire Strikes Back, and
why?
you're just
Wait,
like,
I get that they're two
what?
big franchise
Like,
movies, but that makes no sense.
because
Why
like,
why should I do that?
yeah, because like Empire Strikes Back is a sequel and it expands upon it, while the first one is literally just like showcase, like showing you like the world and like the characters for the
Would you
first
rather
time. Like,
have
how
your
do you
mom
compare
bring you
both of
food
those?
every day or never get to see The Dark Knight again? You're like, or no, doing that means that you never got to see The Dark Knight again, and you're like, um, why is that the situation
I'll
here?
have my mom bring me food. Or it's like, would you save the world, or you'd never see the Dark Knight ever again?
Joker, no.
It's like what? You get to end racism and sexism, or you never
Would you
get to watch
rather-
any Marvel movie ever
Would
again.
you end sexism and racism if it meant that you never got to watch a Marvel movie again? You're like, but Spider-Man's gonna have three more coming out. That's something to chew on, I think. Let us know down below, even though we don't have a comment section.
Yes, please.
Well, I think I gave this 4.5 stars. Yeah, no, I'll stick with it. Sure, why not? That sounds that sounds really nice. But
I I gave it 3.5
okay.
out of 5 stars. Honestly, I would have watched
Ew.
Jurassic World Dominion
Why?
over Lightyear again. I know. It's just because like I just love Jurassic Park, and I just think when it came to Lightyear, I don't know. I just the one character, the main one, it just didn't really stick to me, and the fact that I have to watch it all over
Buzz.
again.
I guess if you have
because
an
of
issue.
him,
Oh
so
yeah,
I don't know. That's just me.
you mentioned something about Chris
Yeah.
Evans. I really liked him in this role. I
No, I think he does better where you get to see his face because he shows a lot of his emotions through his facial expressions, comparable to voice acting. Because I'm still learning, but I feel like after watching a lot of movies and shows, when it comes to like just voice acting, you have to be
Yeah.
really good in terms of just being a voice actor. Because I never realized it beforehand, but like now it's just like I guess I'm realizing it. as well. Just when it comes to voice acting, you
I
really
thought
have to
that
put a lot of effort into that. And I mean, I'm pretty sure it's
I
a pretty
felt that
hard
during
thing
What
to
If,
do.
because some of the actors that they
So,
got out that are the actual actors, I
hmm
was like, okay, some of you are
oh no,
already good
yeah,
at acting.
yes,
Like, the voice acting is not your strong point.
yeah,
Here, I don't know. I liked him a lot in the role,
hmm
but he's also, when I think of
yeah,
a character like Buzz Lightyear, the way I portray him, I do imagine somebody like Chris Evans' voice, that very kind of stern American sounding, I don't know, enunciation, I guess, because he has a certain way of speaking, like this, like the really kind of, I don't know,
yeah.
emphasis on beginning as a words, pretty much. But yeah, no,
I I think it's also yeah. I think it's also because the fact like just what you just said, uh how he was just very stern in what he's saying, and like I guess they made Buzz, that character, that way, and I guess they never really like well, to me, I don't think they ever really expanded and like showed his like emotional side a lot, and his like deeper understanding of how he
yeah,
sees like the situations that he's in. So I think that
no, I
that's
get
what
it.
lacked
I
for
think if
me
they were to
from
make a
it.
second one or something, I would definitely like way more of his personality to shine through, because
Yeah, like I understand like more of his personality, just comparable to like I guess how he was in like
that's true. I
in
mean,
Toy
because Buzz
Story.
Lightyear has, you know that character from, everyone's so defined in
Yes.
those. Well, hey, thank you so much for listening. We, yeah, no problem. You just
Hey,
talked
it's a
for me.
problem.
Thanks for listening to me speak. So up next for you
Hey,
guys,
yeah.
we have a
Anytime.
full-on review, all spoilers for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I keep wanting to call it just Kenobi, but apparently that's not his name.
No. Me
Which,
too.
that's not even a gripe. I'm just like, why wouldn't you just call it that? Whatever. The it doesn't matter that much. Where can they can't find you anywhere, huh? That's what you said. They all right.
Yeah.
Well, you can go
Don't find me
ahead
anywhere.
and follow us on Instagram at Film Between TV. Did I get that right? I'm pretty sure I did. And hey, would you go ahead and leave a rating for us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts? Just say, I loved this, 5 stars, or I hated this, 5 stars. It would mean it would mean so much. It helps us get out there, and in general, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.